Happy Sunday morning, everyone, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Sarasota. My name is Ron Frost, and I'm a licensed spiritual practitioner here at the center. And I want to begin by greeting you with the word Namaste. Namaste is a Sanskrit word, which means the divinity within me recognizes, honors, and blesses the divinity within you. Now, whether you are a first-time person here today or a long-time follower on Facebook or on YouTube, we are simply here to support you in finding the personal relationship of the God of your understanding and to help you discover what you already know. Let's begin by joining our voices from wherever you are to read aloud our vision and our mission. The words can be seen on your screen. Here's our vision: empowering spiritual growth as a loving, inclusive, worldwide community. And now here's our mission. We teach science of mind principles and other life-affirming spiritual truths. We explore, learn, grow, connect, honoring all paths to God. We offer in-person and online weekly services, classes, workshops, affirmative prayer support, and other spiritual tools. We create opportunities for joyful social connection, community outreach, and service. And we celebrate the awakening of our innate spiritual magnificence. And now I invite you to join me in pausing and taking a few moments to go within. I encourage you to get comfortable. Relax your body, close your eyes, allow your mind chatter to slow down and your breathing to be gentle. Find your inner stillness as Jay Poindexter and Bob Teesdale set the tone for us with a wonderful Eddie Watkins Jr. song titled, God Is, I Am.
God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is,
taking in the words of this song. God is, I am, right here, right now. For right here, right now, in this present moment, is only the divine. Regardless of the activities that are going on in life, whether wanted or unwanted, whether beauty or maybe not so much, whether certain or even feeling uncertain, the one truth is, back of all life is the infinite one thing. God is. God is the love, the beauty, the certainty, the life creating life itself, the divine essence of abundance, the experience of joy. And it's manifested in many forms, visible and invisible, all across this beautiful planet, and even in the stars in the sky. God is, I am. For I am one with this infinite thing called God, that all that is the essence, the beauty, the love, the abundance, the wholeness of that which is God is that which is in and through and experienced as me. For I know that I have the qualities of perfect life, of wholeness, of well-being, the experience of joyful expression of divine purpose, a life of ease, grace, and flow, in the experience of wonderful, harmonious relationships. God is, I am. And for this, I am grateful as I release these words, this prayer, this moment of meditation to the infinite law of mind. For it is so, and so it is. And now I want to introduce our amazing spiritual director, Reverend Karen Wolfson. Throughout these many months and time period of going through this challenging situation, many of us come here Sunday morning to hear these heartfelt messages, the stories, as well as the principles that we all know, but we all need to hear again. And no better than Reverend Karen Wolfson to bring that content, that love, and that beautiful Sunday morning message to us. So here she is once again with a message titled, Seeing the God in You. But before we hear from Reverend Karen, we're going to welcome Jay Poindexter and Bob Teesdale back once again with a song by Michael Gott titled Nearer Than Air.
It's like the air around me It's like the sunlight on my face. I feel the love of God surround me. I am touched by amazing grace. And all I ever wanted, and all I ever needed is already there. Closer than the sunlight, nearer than the air. I breathe in, and I am filled with the Spirit, and it is health to my body, it is peace to my mind, it is joy, it is joy to my soul, and I breathe out a simple prayer of thank you. And my breath becomes a song that was singing all along, that is singing everywhere. It is nearer than the air. I breathe in, and I am filled with the Spirit. Oh, it is health to my body, it is peace to my mind, it is joy, it is joy, it is joy, it is joy to my soul, and I breathe out my simple prayer, thank you. And my breath becomes a song that was singing all along, that is singing everywhere. It is nearer than the air. It's like the air around me. It's like the sunlight on my face. I feel the love of God surround me, for I am touched by amazing grace. And all I ever wanted, and all I ever needed is already there. Closer than the sunlight, nearer than the air. nearer than the air.
Nearer, nearer than the air. So beautiful. Thank you, Jay and Bob. What if we lived 24/7 with that in the forefront of our awareness? God, Spirit, nearer than the air, like the sun on our face, powerful and beautiful. Now you know that is at the core of our message each week, also at the center of our classes, our spiritual living circles, and our prayer support. Ernest Holmes, the architect of our teaching, stated it this way. He said, very simply, there is one life, presence, and power in and as everything and everyone. It is infinite. So what does that mean for you and me? Well, it is so up close and personal, as you heard in the song. Well, of course, because it is infinite, it is all there is for it to work with and from. So it created us out of itself. Ernest Holmes said, everything in the universe is a unique expression of the one thing that is the cause of all things. Everything. And then he goes on to say, God put its stamp of individuality on itself and called it you. So, speaking of you, let's check in with each other for a minute. I am so happy knowing you're out there in all your individuality. How are you doing as you step into 2022? Let's stay in touch this year as it unfolds. Know that I affirm for you a new year of magnificent wonder. Yes. And to you, our team of financial contributors, you too are a wonder. You are an absolutely essential part of all that makes it possible for us to share our message, our caring, and our connection. Thank you. So now, back to our theme. Eric Butterworth wrote it this way. He said, God is in you, not in the same sense that a raisin is in a bun, but as the ocean is in a wave. The wave is simply the ocean expressing as a wave. Ernest Holmes expanded on this, and he said, we are drops in this ocean, we are not the whole ocean. And that means all that God is, we are, but we're not all that God is. Now, I know many of you have heard this numerous times, but because this is a principle so different from what we encounter in our daily walking around lives, in the world around us, I need to be reminded, and maybe you do too. Now, Alan Watts had a very direct way of expressing this. Here's what he said. Jesus the Christ knew he was God. So wake up and find out who you really are. In our culture, of course, they'll say you're crazy or blasphemous. They'll either put you in jail or otherwise lock you up. However, if you wake up in India and tell your friends and relations, my goodness, I've just discovered that I'm God, they'll laugh and say, well, congratulations, at last you found out. Don't you love that? So my title today is Seeing the God in You. That is recognizing and experiencing God as you. Now, let's face it, some days we are so in that zone, nothing phases us. And then other days, we don't recognize that presence at all. It can seem as though everything is unraveling or crashing down in our world or around us. Like recently, we saw the news of a frightening bridge collapse, and it was an old one. It was in Pittsburgh. Well, that got my attention. I mean, it was a horrible thing to see, but it also got my attention, especially as it reminded me of a similar occurrence in Minneapolis, the city where I grew up. In 2007, a major bridge right in the heart of the city suddenly collapsed during evening rush hour traffic. 13 people died and many were injured. It was chilling. I had crossed that bridge many times. Well, it was determined that something in the infrastructure of that bridge was deficient. And oh my, that seems to be the same story with the Pittsburgh bridge that collapsed. And then, not long ago, you know about that high-rise condo building in South Florida that suddenly collapsed. It appears that too is mainly due to its aging and deficient infrastructure. Now, so much is being reported about the need and the plans to address the countless aging and failing infrastructures all over our nation. And I think you're quite aware of the vital role of infrastructures in support and sustainability of a single structure or a city or a state and a national system. So, as critical as infrastructures are, why are they so often neglected until a disaster happens? Well, they're mostly out of sight. They're underground or inside of walls and so on. They're not sexy. They're not flashy. They're not exciting. And they require a lot of routine inspection, maintenance, and updating, plus repairs that are not a quick fix. So let's bring this back to you and me. As I said, my title today is Seeing the God in You, and that is recognizing, experiencing God as you. And the question comes to mind, well, why are there times when we're just not able to see or recognize our infinite, amazing God self? The answer? Perhaps it is our infrastructure. Our spiritual infrastructure may need some attention. You know, our God self is inextricably present always, but the condition of our spiritual infrastructure can be in the way, obstructing our experience of the divine in us. Ralph Waldo Emerson said it this way, he said, get yourself out of the way of the divine circuits. So, what is your spiritual infrastructure? In a word, it is your consciousness. By that I mean your perspective, your thought, your thought patterns rooted in your deep beliefs, conscious and subconscious. And it is important, and it's even vital, to routinely inspect these, check on these, as with a physical infrastructure. Why? Well, just as with physical infrastructures where there are outdated components that no longer can handle current demands, you may have some old perspectives and assumptions and beliefs that used to work for you, but they're now outdated. They're not functional in a healthy and sustainable way. They don't serve you any longer. So how can you know if your spiritual infrastructure needs attention? Well, pretty simple. If you're having the same crises, difficulties, pain, problems again and again, or if you find yourself often discouraged with thoughts of lack and limitation, worry, doubt, and fear, these are some of the signs. These are signs that we are not experiencing or seeing our inner divine truth, and our infrastructure needs some attention. As Ernest Holmes says, I know that my divine self is not separated from my physical self. I know that there is a spirit in me that awakens within me the realization of its presence. I realize this universal it is ever present to me. And then this next statement is so important. He says, it is this real me that I seek to vision in my thought. It is the me that knows no lack, has no limitation, and cannot experience fear. Hear that. It is the you that knows no lack, has no limitation, and cannot experience fear. Now that is having a solid infrastructure. So how do we somehow lose sight of that it, of that real me? Well, we do it by reverting to our habit of responding to the conditions of life rather than responding from the presence of the infinite in and as you, and in and as me. Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith calls this being conditioned by conditions. Being conditioned by conditions. And this responding to the material space-time conditions of the relative world results in a flawed and weakened spiritual infrastructure. So how do we strengthen our spiritual infrastructure? Well, by replacing that pattern and instead choosing to respond from that inner absolute infinite source within us by shifting our perspective. Ernest Holmes said, "We do not say the world is an illusion, but we do recognize that all conditions of the world are effects. We do not deny conditions, we simply turn away from them, and we surrender to something greater, an absolute faith in the goodness of God, and we live from the consciousness of that faith regardless of what conditions are appearing in the relative world." I love the way Dr. Michael Beckwith expresses this. He says, conditions are congealed thoughts. Think about that. Conditions are congealed thoughts. Think about the power of your thought. So to change the condition, change the thought behind it. And by that I mean, when we clear out the old, rusty, malfunctioning assumptions and ways of reacting to conditions and replace these with what we know but have lost sight of, what we know, which is that God is, I am, as was sung in that chant earlier today, then our spiritual infrastructure is strong again. We're equipped to handle life's challenges. We discover the power and the sweetness that is, like Jay sang, like the sun on our face and nearer than the air. Now, note, just as the strengthening of a physical infrastructure is not accomplished by means of a quick fix, the same is true of the maintenance and adjusting of our spiritual infrastructure. You know, it might seem like nothing's happening, but then, well, here's what happened to me. Early in my studies of these principles, despite devoting my daily attention and effort, it seemed like nothing was changing. But then something occurred in my life that would have normally thrown me, and to my amazement, it didn't. It was the result of my focused studies and efforts, my spiritual infrastructure. It had been increasing in strength and resilience. So be patient. Here are some things I also do regularly to keep reminding me, because I know how vital my spiritual infrastructure is. So for keeping the way clear for me to recognize and experience the incredible power and peace and guidance and more of God in me as me. Every week I watch or listen online to several ministers and speakers who inspire me. I also regularly have a session with my prayer partner and also my practitioner. Now, these are a couple of the most effective ways for me to make sure I'm reminded of how to keep my spiritual infrastructure strong. And I do recommend these practices to you, along with taking classes. Classes are one of the best ways to create and strengthen your spiritual infrastructure. Now, I know, of course, you will find additional ways to do this for yourself, but I offer these suggestions as things that really work for me. So now, back to my title, Seeing the God in Me. In a moment, Jay and Bob are going to tell it all in song with Eddie Watkins Jr.'s I Am the Place Where God Lives. That's right, I am the place where God lives. But first, in closing, I love this little story about that very thing, and you probably remember it. There once was a little boy who wanted to meet God, and he knew it was a long trip to wherever God lived, so he packed his suitcase with Twinkies and a 6-pack of root beer, and he started on his journey. And when he had gone about 3 blocks, he met an elderly, grandmotherly woman, and she was sitting in the park just staring at some pigeons. Well, the boy sat down next to her and opened his suitcase, was about to take a drink from his root beer when he noticed that the woman looked hungry, so he offered her a Twinkie. She gratefully accepted it, and she smiled at him. Her smile was so pretty that the boy wanted to see it again. So he offered her a root beer, and once again she smiled at him. The boy was delighted. So they sat there all afternoon eating and smiling, but they never said a word. Well, as it began to grow dark, the boy realized how tired he was, so he got up and began to leave. And then he turned around and ran back to the woman, gave her a big hug. And she gave him her biggest smile ever. Now, a short time later, when the boy opened the door and ran into his house, his mother was surprised by the look of joy on his face. She asked him, "Well, what did you do today that made you so happy?" And he replied, "I had lunch with God, and you know what? She's got the most beautiful smile I've ever seen." Meanwhile, the woman, also radiant with joy, returned to her home, where her son was stunned by the look of peace and joy on her face, and he asked, "Mother, what did you do today that made you so happy?" And she replied, "Well, I ate Twinkies in the park with God, and you know, He's much younger than I expected." God in us, as us, is us. Ralph Waldo Emerson expressed it like this: "Everyone is a doorway through which the infinite passes into the finite, through which God becomes human. When it breathes through our intellect, it is genius. When it breathes through our will, it is virtue. And when it breathes through our affection, it is love. You are the place where God lives." Remember that. Have a great week experimenting with that. So it is. I'll see you soon.
Enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and holiness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Sing it with us. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place, you are the place, we are the place.
Thank you, Jay and Bob, for that amazing song by Eddie Watkins Jr., I Am the Place Where God Lives. And thank you, Reverend Karen. That was a very heartfelt message, a beautiful message. I loved it, seeing the God in you. And so here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Sarasota, we want you to know that we are available to support you in knowing the power and presence of your spiritual essence. We offer support through prayer, inspiration, encouragement, and opportunities for virtual community and connection. And we appreciate your financial gifts in support of us so we can continue to offer support for you. There are 3 easy ways to share your gift. On your screen, you will see our website where you can select the donate button, which allows you to contribute via PayPal or credit card. Or you can mail a check to the address shown here on our website, or set up automatic contributions through your own online banking. The website is www.cslsarasota.com. And now I invite you to take your virtual gift in your hand and place it over your heart, blessing it as you share it, and know with me that my gift goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper. And a divine flow returns it to me multiplied abundantly. And now please join me with our offering affirmation, which is now shown on your screen. I give thanks that I may share of my good, my love, and my support. Thank you so much. Would you like prayer support? Do you have a prayer request? Now, on our website at www.cslsarasota.com, notice the green prayer request button, which allows you to send your prayer requests. Our 5 licensed spiritual practitioners are Kathleen Frankert, Sean Scanlon, Nicole Leeds, Jim Grove, and myself. And we stand by, ready to know and affirm spiritual truth with and for you, no matter what the situation is. We are also available for spiritual coaching sessions by appointment. These offer the opportunity to explore a deeper understanding and a practical application of the spiritual truth that eclipses your problem or challenging issue. For more information, click on the staff link on our website and then click on practitioners. Would you like news about upcoming events? Sign up for our weekly e-newsletter here on our website. And also to remember to click our Facebook link. Now, I have 2 announcements. The first one is Kathleen Frankert is offering another class. This class is called Exploring Roots of Science of Mind. I actually took this class, and it's an amazing class. And it's about the historical part of, the people that contributed to science of mind, to new thought, ancient wisdom, the teaching that we know. And yet it's more than that. It's knowing the principles, and it's reinforcing those principles. It's a beautiful class. And Kathleen, if you've ever taken a class with her, she is a wonderful practitioner, leader, mentor, and a person that truly holds space for the collaboration of the deeper understanding of these spiritual principles. So if you're still thinking of taking this, the registration was officially ended yesterday. However, I've spoken with Kathleen, and she said, if anybody still wants to register last minute, you just send your message to her email, which is there on the screen. It's a 10-week class. It's being offered by Zoom, so it doesn't matter where you are on this planet. You can join in. It's from 6 to 9 p.m. on Tuesday, starting February 8th and going to April 12th. So you don't want to miss this one. And again, even though you may have missed the registration, you can still email her today and get signed up. And now my last announcement. So popular every Wednesdays from 7 to 8 p.m. are spiritual living circles, which is offered by Zoom, and it's open to everyone, and it's free, from our spiritual practitioner, our licensed spiritual practitioner here at the center, Jim Grove. It's a great time to connect in community. These circles are informal, inspiring, thought-provoking, and like I said, they're free. So email Jim Grove on the address that is on your screen to receive this week's Zoom link and the discussion questions and a copy of the Science of Mind article to be discussed. So in a topic for this week, which is February 9th, we'll be delving into our divine indwelling presence. Delving into our divine indwelling presence. And now, as we conclude this sacred time together, let us set the intention to move forward into our day and week ahead in peace and in love. And I invite you to join in singing our closing song, Let There Be Peace on Earth. The words can be seen on your screen. Thank you for being with us, and have a wonderful week, everyone.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God our Creator. We are family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let